All right, Shalom. Let's start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Shemel, Shabbat, Shalom, Dr. Dash. Step on us to the apostle of the great millstone. Shalom, Dr. Akim, that pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. Yeah, and I just wanted to do this lesson dealing with leadership and how men need leadership, men need guidance. You know, the scriptures speak about that in First Corinthians, the 7th chapter, how the head of, you know, the Yahweh Shai is the Most High, and the head of man is Yahweh Shai, and the head of the woman is the man. Everything needs a head. Everything needs something to give them guidance. All right, even in Esau's world today, you know, you have the presidents, you have different staffs, you have individuals that's ambassadors. You know, you have different individuals that deal with different public relations. You have consultants. You know, these individuals get paid heavily for their wits of steering, you know, the ship. You know, and it's different degrees in each and every one of these departments. You know, that's why you have a supervisor. That's why you have certain managers. That's why you have all these different positions. You know, in your day to day, where men reign over you. You know, and if you say that nobody's reigning over you, then that's the furthest thing from the truth. You're a damn fool. Everything is subject unto something else, man. You know, that's just the concept of life. You know, you're subject to your boss. You're subject to your municipalities, your cities, your states. You have to pay state tax. You have to pay federal taxes. You know, you have a father, an earthly father that for the brothers that do have fathers. But the point is, you know, you was born in this world from a father. All right, you never came in this world independently, and basically, you know, had your own, hierarchy where you're just your own entity. You know, you learn from men. You know, you had to grow up under the spirit. The scriptures speak about the tutelage in the book of Galatians until the time appointed. And if, like I said, if anybody says that that's not true, then that's the furthest thing from the truth. And a lot of women will push that energy. And if you see a man that's pushing that same vibration, he got a spirit like a damn prima donna, man. But I just want to jump into this article and get into some scripts. But it speaks about the alpha theology. Ethology. I was thinking I said that wrong. Theology is basically the study of basically the Most High Theos, or the Most High study of God's religion, so to speak. But it says, in studies of social animals, the highest ranking individual of a dominance hierarchy is sometimes designated as the alpha. Right. And one thing about the alpha, every man claims to be the alpha, you know, and that's another thing that's furthest thing from the truth. That's a bubble buster. Every man thinks that he's the alpha. When in most cases, when it's the assembly of men, you know, you have heads that, you know, take the most dominant role. That are major players, and you have certain individuals that act as supports, you know, and help guide the flow of that leadership, you know. And you know, this truth, you know, you have multiple individuals that, you know, have alpha characteristics. That doesn't mean, you know. And another thing, where they say the term beta, they make that where it's basically another word for simp. You know, that's another thing that's thrown off in today's time. You know, betas have a supporting role. And like I said, I want to actually speak on this, you know, this concept, so that, you know, people understand textual criticism, you know, understanding words and its context, and critiquing it to get the most, you know, the most common understanding. Speak about rightly dividing the word of truth. And, you know, there's truth in everything. The Most High said in Sirach, that his incorruptible spirit is in all things. So you see the Lord's spirit throughout, you know, animals and their relationships in this context. The scripture says, ask the beast and they shall tell thee. All right? So when you see a pride of lions, all of those are not the alpha. Each and every one of them is dominant. All of them have sex. You know, all of them part women. Some of them might have multiple women. They all have cubs. But that doesn't make each and every one of those men the alpha. Yeah, they take an alpha role in their house, because you have the male role, which is, you know, you have the woman
To her man, he's the alpha. But with men, you have alpha men that's above other men in the spirit. So, you have an alpha role in your day-to-day life, and you might have a beta role, in another, you know, in another light. And that's the thing about this truth. You got to know how to be interchangeable, know how to lead, know how to follow. But I just want to jump into this this one passage. It says, alphas may achieve their status by superior physical strength and aggression, or through social efforts and building alliances within the group, or more often, simply by breeding and being the parent of all their pack. Right. So, like I was speaking about public relations, that's the form of alliances, knowing how to negotiation, persuasion, all these things are strengths that help push a economy, push a society, push a nation, push a tribe. And it speaks about physical strength, which when you deal with genes and things of that nature, the ones that have the most strength, you know, are the ones that's usually most blessed. You see that in today's time now, you know, where you'll have basketball players, you'll have all these different athletes, and depending on the level of, muscle retention, evasiveness, all these different things come into play, um, swiftness, having a discernment, sharpness, acumen. It's so many different principles that determines the success of an individual, which lands him on the top. And I'm gonna get into some scriptures because the scriptures speak about leadership. It's a lot more in that passage, but dealing in terms of the beta, and I'm gonna go back, Lord willing, but I do want to get into some scriptures. I don't want to be too long on it. Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which the word heart represents mind. The Lord said He'll give you pastors according to His mind, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Right. So you have certain individuals that guide the pasture. All right. Which another term for that is shepherds. They herd the sheep, and you being a sheep. A sheep is really the most beta role, beta animal, if you're thinking about it, in the world. One of the most beta. They don't have no type of attack mechanism. They don't have any defense mechanism. They're not aggressive. They get whipped by the shepherd, and they don't bite back. They're very subject. All right, their wool is used for clothing. They get shaved, at random. They have to be taken care of. They have fences to board them. They can't jump over. They don't have swiftness to outmaneuver. So they take a back seat on a lot of stuff, and in this truth, you have to take the back seat on a lot of stuff. It's a time to be a lion, and it's a time to be a sheep. And it's all about knowing your role and knowing how to play it, and when it's most feasible. You see. So the Lord said He will give us pastors according to His heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Yeah, and like I said, that's fine in dealing in terms of guidance and things of that nature. A lot of people, let's see if I can find this a rock, but a lot of people don't respect leadership, and they look at themselves being under somebody as being insignificant. That's not the case. Everybody plays a key role within this truth. It tells you that in Corinthians. You have the more important or the bigger members, and you have the lesser members. All right, this is Sirach 11:3. The bee is little among such a fly, but her fruit is the chief of sweet things. Right, and when you see how bees operate and move, you have the queen bee, which the queen bee would be the female alpha, because even in society you have female alphas. That would be the female alpha, and all the other men are subject to that flow. Now, you can look at things like that and see how important bees are in today's time. They're a very critical creature, due to their level of respect and order and
not trying to assume the throne one from another, they can build so much. All right, and like I said, understanding the term beta, just want to jump into it. It says beta animals are collaborators, often act as second in command to the reigning alpha or alphas, and will act. Yeah, so you have sometimes multiple alphas, and will act as new alpha animals if an alpha dies or is otherwise no longer considered an alpha. Right. So betas can take an alpha role, and in some cases, alphas take beta roles. So it's interchangeable too. You can't in all walks of life. You're not just a full alpha. That's another thing. Of course, leadership and all these different things come to play. You know, which shows, like I said, alpha style characteristics. But it's times where you have to take the low and you understand situations that's bigger than you, and your wittiness and your physical strength. All these things are not able to get you out certain situations. Only the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. And I'm gonna just close with this one scripture because it all boils down to the Lord being the Alpha. All right, he's the Lord of Lords, King of Kings. He said he's the Alpha and Omega. He takes the eye. All right, the beginning and the end. So I want to get this to Jeremiah 9:23. It says, "Thus says the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me." Yeah, that's a humbling thing, understanding and knowing Yahweh Shai, and understanding that he's the man, and he's supposed to rule over the hegemony of our course, or the hegemony of our thoughts should be reserved, and we should take our own thoughts and put it in the back seat, being subject unto what the Lord has, prescribed for us, which is written in the scripts. All right. It says, "But let him that glory of glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord, which exerciseth loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord." So, this was just the main thing. I just wanted to shed a few things on that, understanding leadership, understanding your course and your walk. Hopefully, brothers edified. I'm going to end by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Shema, Shah by Shema, Papa Dash. Step on us with Apostle and Elder Millstone. Shalom.